Imagine this: you're going about your day and everything feels slightly off. It's not something you can explain with logic, but the air feels heavier, like you're wading through an invisible fog. Your thoughts spiral, your emotions feel hijacked, and nothing external seems to justify it. You might start to wonder, what's wrong with me? But what if I told you the wrong isn't coming from you at all? What if the unseen forces around you, the ones most of us ignore, are trying to communicate, manipulate, or even attack? Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever asked yourself this question? What if the battles I'm fighting aren't just physical or mental, but spiritual? We often underestimate the power of the unseen realm. We live in a world where the tangible reigns supreme, what we can see, touch, and measure. But there's an ancient truth whispered across all spiritual traditions: the unseen is just as real, if not more so. Negative spiritual attacks are not just moments of coincidence or a bad streak of luck. These are deliberate energies, forces, or influences working against your inner peace, clarity, and purpose. You might be thinking, but why me? Why would I, an ordinary person, be under spiritual attack? That's the first sign you're not ordinary. No one is. Every soul carries a unique light, a purpose, and whether you realize it or not, that light threatens the forces of darkness. Think about it. Why would a burglar target an empty house? Spiritual attacks often come because there's something valuable within you: your potential, your purpose, your connection to something higher. Here's the first weird sign your inner world feels hijacked. You might wake up feeling fine, but as the day progresses, a cloud of negativity settles over you. It's not just sadness, it's more like an invisible weight pressing on your spirit. Your thoughts turn darker, more doubtful, more self-critical. It's almost as if your mind is no longer your own. Have you ever experienced this? You're going about your day, and suddenly a thought flashes across your mind: I'm not good enough, or why even bother? These thoughts aren't yours, they're invasive. Negative spiritual entities often plant seeds of doubt and despair, hoping you'll water them with your attention.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
Now let's dive deeper. Have you ever felt like your emotions were completely out of sync with reality? For example, you might feel an overwhelming sense of fear, but when you look around, there's nothing to be afraid of. Or perhaps you feel angry, but there's no clear trigger. This emotional chaos isn't random, it's a sign of spiritual interference. Why does this happen? Because your emotions are gateways. When you're overwhelmed with fear, anger, or despair, you're more vulnerable. You're easier to influence. Think of it like a radio frequency. When those emotions take over, they tune you into a darker channel. And that's exactly where these forces want you to be. Now here's the deep question: when was the last time you sat with your emotions and asked, are these really mine? Because sometimes what you're feeling isn't even originating from you, it's being projected onto you. Another weird sign is what I call patterns of resistance. This is when everything in your life seems to hit a roadblock at the same time. Your relationships become strained, your career feels stagnant, and even your health might start to falter. It's like an invisible hand is pushing against every area of progress in your life. But why? Why this coordinated resistance? It's because spiritual attacks are strategic. They aren't random. The forces behind them know that if they can drain your energy in one area, it will ripple into others. For example, if they can destabilize your relationships, your emotional energy will spiral. leaving you too depleted to focus on your purpose. Have you ever noticed how, right before a breakthrough, everything seems to go wrong? That's not a coincidence. Spiritual resistance often intensifies just before a moment of growth, change, or transformation. This is because darkness fears the light, and the closer you get to your light, the harder it will fight to keep you in the shadows. So let me ask you this: what if the chaos in your life right now isn't a sign of failure but a sign of transformation? Finally, let's talk about the subtle physical signs. Have you ever experienced sudden fatigue that doesn't make sense? Not the kind of tiredness that comes from lack of sleep, but a deep, soul-level exhaustion. This is another weird sign of a spiritual attack. Negative energy drains you, and when you're under attack, your body often feels the effects before your mind catches on. For example, you might feel a heaviness in your chest, tension in your shoulders, or even random aches and pains. These physical sensations often correlate with the energy being targeted. Your chest might feel heavy because your heart, your emotional center, is under siege. Your shoulders might ache because the weight of the attack is literally pressing down on you. Now, let me ask you something profound. When was the last time you listened to your body, not just its physical needs, but its spiritual ones? The body is a vessel for the spirit, and when the spirit is under attack, the body becomes the first line of defense. So if you've been ignoring these signs, it's time to pay attention. We've just scratched the surface here, but let's pause. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever felt these subtle signs, the emotional hijacking, the patterns of resistance, the unexplained fatigue? If so, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not powerless. Let's go deeper. If the first signs of a spiritual attack are subtle, like hijacked emotions or strange physical sensations, then the next layer is far more insidious. It's not just about how you feel, it's about how your reality starts to shift. You might notice that the world around you begins to reflect the chaos within. But here's the secret: spiritual attacks don't just target your emotions or your body, they manipulate your perception, your relationships, and even the opportunities in your life. Let me ask you this: what if everything you thought was falling apart was actually being dismantled by unseen forces trying to keep you from building something greater? One of the strangest signs of a spiritual attack is distorted perception. It's like wearing glasses with the wrong prescription. You begin to see people, situations, and even yourself through a lens of negativity. Suddenly, that friend who's always been supportive feels distant. You might think, they don't care about me anymore, or maybe you start doubting your own abilities, thinking, I'll never succeed at this. But here's the truth: the problem isn't the people around you, or even your circumstances, it's the filter. Negative spiritual forces thrive when they can distort your reality, making you feel isolated, unworthy, or hopeless. And once you start believing those lies, they gain power over you. Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever looked back on a time in your life where you felt completely alone, only to later realize that people were trying to help you, but you couldn't see it? That's the power of distorted perception. It blinds you to the love, support, and opportunities that are right in front of you. Another strange sign is energetic interference. Have you ever noticed how, when you're trying to focus on something important, whether it's a project, a relationship, or even your spiritual growth, everything seems to go wrong? Your phone glitches, you lose important files, or unexpected distractions keep pulling you away. These disruptions aren't random. Negative forces often use chaos to break your concentration and keep you from moving forward. Here's the thing, your attention is sacred. What you focus on grows. So if these forces can scatter your attention, they can scatter your energy, leaving you too fragmented to make progress. But there's another layer to this interference, and it's deeply personal. Negative spiritual forces don't just create external chaos, they tap into your deepest fears and insecurities to amplify their impact. For example, let's say you're working on a creative project and suddenly your computer crashes. On the surface, it's just a technical glitch. But inside, it triggers a thought, maybe I'm not good enough to do this. Maybe this is a sign I should give up. Do you see how subtle this is? The external disruption is just the bait. The real attack happens when you internalize it, allowing your own fears to take over. So let me ask you this, when things go wrong, do you see it as an obstacle to overcome, or do you take it as proof that you should stop trying? Now, let's talk about relationships. One of the most effective ways negative forces attack is by sowing discord between you and the people who matter most. Have you ever had an argument with someone you love, an argument so irrational, so out of character, that you later wondered, what even caused that? These moments aren't always just human miscommunication. Negative forces thrive on division. They know that when you're connected to others, you're stronger. So they plant seeds of misunderstanding, jealousy, or resentment, hoping to create cracks in your relationships. And once those cracks form, they exploit them, turning small disagreements into major conflicts. But here's the deeper insight: these attacks don't just target the relationship itself, they target your belief in the relationship. You start to think, maybe we're not compatible, or maybe they don't really care about me. And once you believe that, you begin to pull away, which is exactly what these forces want. So let me ask you, when was the last time you truly examined whether the conflict in your relationships was about the other person, or about something deeper trying to divide you? Now, here's where things get even stranger: synchronicities gone wrong. We've all heard of positive synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that feel like the universe is guiding us. But during a spiritual attack, you might notice the opposite. You might see patterns or signs that feel ominous instead of uplifting. For example, you might keep seeing the same number, but instead of feeling comforted, it fills you with dread. Or you might have a string of bad luck that feels too deliberate to be random. This is one of the weirdest and most unsettling signs of a spiritual attack. It's as if the forces working against you are trying to mimic the universe's guidance, but in a way that leads you astray. They want you to feel lost, confused, and disconnected from your intuition. But here's the profound truth: even negative synchronicities can teach us something. They reveal where our fears and doubts are strongest, and they challenge us to reclaim our power. So the next time you notice a pattern that feels off, ask yourself, what is this trying to show me about my own energy? Finally, let's talk about dreams. Sleep is a sacred time when your soul connects with higher realms. But during a spiritual attack, your dreams might take a darker turn. You might have nightmares that feel disturbingly real, or you might wake up feeling drained, as if you've been battling something all night. These dreams aren't just random, they're another way negative forces try to access your energy. They might show you your deepest fears, hoping to keep those fears alive in your waking life. Or they might create scenarios that leave you feeling powerless, even after you wake up. But here's the secret: you are never powerless, even in your dreams. The next time you face a nightmare, try this: instead of running or hiding, stand your ground. Call on your inner strength, your faith, or whatever higher power you believe in, and declare your authority. You'd be amazed at how quickly the dream shifts when you refuse to give in to fear. Let's pause again. Reflect on what we've explored so far: the distorted perceptions, the energetic interference, the relational discord, and the twisted synchronicities. Do any of these resonate with you? If so, you're not alone, and there's a way to reclaim your power. Now we've reached the most important part. How do you take back control? How do you rise above these negative spiritual attacks and reclaim the light, peace, and power that are inherently yours? The truth is, the forces working against you are not as powerful as they want you to believe. Their strength lies in illusion, manipulation, and fear. But once you see through their tactics and align yourself with the truth of who you are, they lose their grip. Let me start with this. What if every negative attack you faced was not meant to defeat you, but to awaken you? Think about it. The hardest battles in life often reveal hidden strengths you didn't know you had. Negative spiritual attacks are no different. They challenge you to rise, to grow, and to step into your spiritual authority. But this requires awareness, intention, and action. Let's explore how to reclaim your power and shield your spirit. First, we need to address the most critical step: awareness. You can't fight what you don't recognize. Many people go through life feeling stuck, drained, or lost without realizing they're under spiritual attack. They blame themselves, their circumstances, or others, never seeing the invisible hand behind their struggles. So ask yourself, am I truly aware of the forces influencing my life right now? Start by paying attention to the patterns. Are you experiencing recurring negativity, unexplained resistance, or a sense of heaviness that doesn't make sense? Are your relationships strained for no clear reason? Are you plagued by self-doubt, fear, or confusion that feels out of character? These are not random, they are signs. Awareness is the first key to breaking free. Once you recognize the attack, the next step is to reclaim your inner authority. Here's a truth that negative forces don't want you to know: they have no real power over you unless you give it to them. Their influence thrives on fear, doubt, and passivity. But the moment you stand firm in your spiritual authority, their grip weakens. How do you reclaim this authority? Start by speaking it out loud. Words carry power. Declare, I am not a victim. I am in control of my energy, my emotions, and my life. I reject any influence that is not aligned with love, truth, and light. It might feel strange at first, but don't underestimate the power of your voice. When you speak with conviction, you send a clear message to the spiritual realm: you will not be controlled or manipulated. But reclaiming authority isn't just about words, it's also about action. Negative forces thrive in environments of chaos, clutter, and low vibration. One of the most practical ways to shield your spirit is to create an environment that supports your growth and peace. Start with your physical space. Is your home filled with clutter, old energy, or things that no longer serve you? Clear it out. Open the windows, let in fresh air, and cleanse your space with tools like sage, incense, or salt. Your external environment reflects your internal state, and a clean, peaceful space can help you feel grounded and protected. Next, look at your habits. Are you feeding your spirit with positivity, or are you unknowingly inviting negativity into your life? For example, the media you consume, whether it's music, movies, or social media, carries energy. Ask yourself, is this uplifting me, or is it pulling me down? The same goes for the people around you. Are you surrounded by individuals who inspire and support you, or are there toxic relationships draining your energy? Remember, you have the right to set boundaries. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary. Now let's talk about spiritual practices. These are your strongest tools for shielding your spirit. One of the most powerful practices is prayer. But this isn't about reciting empty words, it's about creating a real, intentional connection with the divine. When you pray, you're not just asking for help, you're aligning yourself with a higher power that is far greater than any negative force. Here's a simple but effective prayer you can use. I call on the light of God, the universe, or your chosen higher power. Surround me with your protection, fill me with your peace, and guide me in truth. I release all fear, doubt, and negativity. And I claim the power and love that are my birthright. Another essential practice is meditation. Negative forces often target the mind, filling it with fear, confusion, and doubt. Meditation helps you quiet the noise and reconnect with your true self. Even 5 minutes of stillness can help you regain clarity and peace. Here's a powerful visualization technique. Close your eyes and imagine a bright, golden light surrounding your entire body. Feel this light growing stronger with each breath, creating an unbreakable shield around you. Know that this light is your protection, your strength, and your connection to the divine. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you truly connected with your own light? Another key practice is grounding. Spiritual attacks often unbalance your energy, leaving you feeling scattered or disconnected. Grounding helps you reconnect with the earth and your own physical body. Take a walk in nature, stand barefoot on the ground, or simply focus on your breath. Feel the stability of the earth beneath you and let it anchor you. But perhaps the most transformative practice of all is gratitude. Negative forces thrive on fear and lack. Gratitude, on the other hand, shifts your energy to abundance and love. Even in the midst of a spiritual attack, there's always something to be grateful for. By focusing on what's good in your life, you starve the negativity of its power. Take a moment right now to think of 3 things you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as the breath in your lungs, the warmth of the sun, or the support of a loved one. Feel that gratitude deeply and notice how it begins to shift your energy. Finally, remember this: you are never alone. One of the greatest lies negative forces try to convince you of is that you're isolated, that no one understands what you're going through. But the truth is, you're connected to something far greater than yourself. Whether it's God, the universe, your ancestors, or your higher self, there is always support available to you. When the attacks feel overwhelming, call on that support. Ask for guidance, protection, and strength. Trust that you are being held, even in your darkest moments. So let me ask you one last question. What would your life look like if you fully embraced your power and shielded your spirit from negativity? This journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Every attack you overcome makes you stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. You are not a victim, you are a warrior. And the light within you is far greater than any darkness you face. Thank you for taking this journey with me. If you've experienced these signs, know that you're not alone, and more importantly, you're not powerless. Keep rising, keep fighting, and keep shining your light. The world needs it.